Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the American Masterminds podcast. I'm your host tonight, Topher Sheeler. I'm joined by my co-host, the one, the only, Mr. Rob Adams.
What up, what up?
We've got one heck of a show for you here tonight. He is a very accomplished artist. You do, like on a side quest, you need to go check out his art. But also he is a coach. Rob, why don't you tell us a little bit more about Mr. Watts?
Oh man, he's one of the people, and I know I say this quite often, but he's one of the people that came into my life, and I knew the minute we were talking that this guy's gonna be a friend for the rest of my life because of his authenticity, because of the clarity in which he delivers his thoughts. I really appreciate this. I'm way excited for this interview.
This is absolutely awesome, guys. We have Tim Watts on today. You know the drill. Let's get a quick word from the sponsor, and we'll jump right in.
Welcome to the American Masterminds podcast.
Today's episode is brought to you by Blue Logic.
What if the water your kids drink every day wasn't as clean as you think? Invisible contaminants, lead, arsenic, PFAS can slip through ordinary filters. With Blue Logic's whole home purification, you remove up to 99.8% of what shouldn't be there. Give your family water that's as pure as your love for them. Call now or visit bluelogicwater.com to schedule your free in-home water test. Because what touches your family every day should never be left to chance. Blue Logic Water, pure protection for the ones you love most.
What kind of a podcast did you have?
It was about relationships. It's still alive, actually.
What's it called?
The Tim and Karen podcast.
Tim and Karen.
A friend of mine, I met her through a polyamorous dating, and we kind of did this relationship advice angle on open love, open relationships, polyamory, and I threw my monogamy in there too. And it wasn't just about that; it was like about life and everything. But we definitely weren't shy about like stay in this lane, you know. So it was relationships. What does that entail? You don't just get to walk up and say, man, this is how I want it to be. You know, it's like about that kind of shit. And it went, I think we went 20 episodes, maybe. I was pretty proud of it.
Yeah. It's surprising when you do a podcast that you think it's a good idea. And we've seen it before. I actually have another podcast besides this one that I think I have maybe 23 episodes. Yeah. And you think you got a great idea until you like try talking about it. In fact, this podcast started out being about motorcycles.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense. That lasted maybe
three episodes. I love how it morphs like that, though. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you got fucking sugar ass gold on somebody that can plan the idea and still have it seen through 3 years later, or whatever. Like it evolves.
It does evolve, and it's interesting on the first three. Like if you go back on our first three podcasts, which guests. Don't do it.
It's not worth it.
They're so bad.
It's not worth it at all.
I'm nervous. I'm talking really fast, and I'm like talking more than the guests are because I'm like trying to like I haven't figured out my flow, and then he's trying to jump in. And my turn.
Trying to help each other.
It's dumb. I've tried. I've gone back and tried, and I'm like, that's so painful to watch.
You got to go through it. You got to learn, and then you learn the cadence of like when to pick up, when to jump in, what to leave alone. Yeah.
And Topher and I, we've got a really good chemistry where we're working together. Like he lets me kind of run off in the rabbit holes, and then he's the bumpers. You know when you're like doing the kid bowling, they put the bumpers up. He's the bumpers. It's like, how about we come back over here into reality? Because I'm like,
you're the cup, you're the water.
Yeah.
Hold on.
That's exactly right.
Dig it.
I want to talk about aliens next. Let's go. Wait a minute. Whoa. Here we go.
We're here to talk about firefighters, Rob.
Yeah. It's a real profession on this planet.
But we're lucky that way. And then the other thing too that I love about doing podcasts with Toph is that we have some like real legit moments. Like we're talking about stuff that really matters. And that's the reason that I invited you on the podcast is because I met Tim. Oh man, it hasn't been that long. It's maybe almost 2 years now.
Depends on how you want to tell the story. Because if we talk about meeting, actually shaking hands and talking, that was within the last year. But I've seen you at the gym for years.
Yeah. So. we would just cross paths all the time, and there's sometimes going to the gym. I've kind of turned into a gym rat in my old age. I enjoy going; it's my meditation. And there's people that are there that are like almost like equipment. Like if that person's not there,
it's weird.
Something's wrong. And he was one of those people, and we just get past it, and then we do like the morning nod, and finally we were like walking past him, like, why haven't we talked to one another? Like that, we said
we
that.
both at the same
really?
time.
Why haven't we talked to one another?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know. Like I see you here every day. And we had a good laugh about it, shook hands, met. And then we were just kind of going back and forth. And then I read a book called No More Mr. Nice Guy. And I was like, it really melted my noodle. I actually bought it for somebody else because I don't consider myself a nice guy. Yeah, I feel like I've got some pretty well set boundaries. And the truth of the matter is that I bought it for this guy that was on my team. I thought he was kind of some milquetoast, easy to push around, needed a little bit more confidence. And that's what I thought the book was about. Absolutely not about that. And so it melted my noodle. And I was walking into the gym. I'm like, dude, I'm reading this book right now. It's just blowing my mind. It's called No More Mr. Nice Guy. Have you heard of it? And he's all, actually, I was a coach for that company for a while. And we just stood out there. I bet we talked out there in front of the gym for like 45 minutes about it. Just like, what? And then I thought about putting a book club together after the motorcycle accident, and you generously joined. Both of you did, actually. You were part of that.
Yeah.
And man, that was a really great book club. But at the same time, I realized that in doing that book club, I kind of was just lonely, and I just needed people to come over to my house.
Yeah, it was definitely an excuse for people to come sit in the backyard with you for a minute.
Yeah, because I couldn't go anywhere. I was I was limited because of my broken leg after the motorcycle accident for like 6 weeks, and so you guys were my thank you for being my entertainment.
Hey, but you know what? Thank you. I like it. What I can't do is sit around and talk about Netflix. You know what I mean? So why not sit around talking about what we did, which is like, well, what's the heart of this problem? Or how do I feel about that?
Yeah.
Or support, for each other. Like, yeah, that was the shit.
It was really very good. And I ended that because I kind of came to an end. We didn't even finish the book, but it was just like, people were kind of losing interest. Summer was happening.
Yep.
People were all doing different things, and
Your foot got better and you could start walking.
Yeah. I don't need these guys.
That's really what it
That's
was.
really what it
Yeah.
But we kept the friendship going. And so I wanted to talk about some of the things that you might not know about Tim. Is he is a successful artist. I actually own a piece of his work.
Some of the most brilliant stuff I've ever seen.
Yeah.
What you can do with a pen
Thanks, man.
is incredible.
Yeah. Thanks.
And it's not what you would expect. It's a little bit of like organized chaos. There's just a lot going on that canvas, and then all of a sudden it comes together, and there's a silhouette, or there's two men, or there's this, and it's amazing stuff. And so, if someone wanted to see your artwork, I just want to do a quick plug, because that's not what this is about. But I want to throw that out there because it's so awesome. How can they see more of your artwork?
Yeah, please. I've branded myself Tim Watts Art. So I have a website that is timwatts.art, or if you look up Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, especially Tim Watts Art. Tim Watts Art. They can find me anywhere with that.
WATT.
Yeah, Watts like a
S?
light bulb.
Like
WATTS. Tim
Okay.
Watts Art. Yep.
Got it. So check it out. Check it out,
It's
fans.
awesome. Check it out. Yeah.
It's fun just to see it. But I'm a fan enough that I have a piece in my office that's hanging up there. And if you've ever been in my office is clear full of nonsense. And that's one of the pieces that made it into my office.
Love
and
it.
I've got things in there to help me remember who I am, remember why I'm working so hard, to remember my family. And that's up there because I think about, when I look at it, number one, I think it's beautiful. But number two, I just think about my friendship that I have with you. And like, it's a good reminder that I'm surrounded by warriors. I'm being held up by warriors, and they're all around me. I've been lucky to be blessed enough in my life that I've got these guys in my life that will show up. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about that. That's where I wanted to start. When you were coaching with the No More Mr. Nice Guy, tell me a little bit about your association with that group and what it is you were teaching.
Yeah, it's actually interesting. It's coming up right now. I have a call, just a one-on-one catch up with Dr. Glover on Monday. I just reached out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We had a pretty direct line of communication. I worked under him, directly. But what he did is he took his No More Mr. Nice Guy structure and turn it into a worldwide community for men. So of course, this is in a digital platform. We experience men from literally India, different countries, different time zones, and with organized calls. And this is kind of common in the men's world now to do it this way, but I think Glover really paved the way and still is. And what this is, different classes where coaches can mentor and give guidance and dig into parts about the book and just, these shame-based things that men are popping up with. And I do want to circle back on shame plenty, because I think that to me is exactly the pot of gold that every single one of these guys that I've seen, that I've worked with, and including myself, has been missing. Is like, what does that entail? What is it? Where does it show up? How do we overcome it? And how is it keeping us from our highest self, which is a term thrown around loosely, but your highest self is the one that's kicking ass, making money, beautiful relationships, right? So I was on the journey like most men to pick up that book. You know, I would have not touched it with a 10-foot pole because of the name. No offense, Dr. Glover, but no more Mr. Nice Guy. None of us want to be nice guys.
Yeah. And none of us would identify ourselves as
None
such.
of us. It's the block, right? That's intention. Our prefrontal cortex, which runs our ego and our shame and all of these defense mechanisms and thinking mechanisms, can see outward because we're projections. We're not recording devices, we're projections. And so, of course, looking outward means you can't see it in yourself. So you open this book and suddenly the mirror turns back on you. We've all been that. Oh my God, he's talking about me exactly. I can't tell you how many thousands of times I've heard a man say that to me. This book is talking about me. Of course I know that, right? But Glover's focusing on that shame. So anyway, long story short, I open this book. I'm having the same feelings. I get on his website. I'm like, how can I learn more? He's got certification groups. He calls them TPI, Total Progress Integration, or something to that effect. And you jump in and I realize that he's got, for a little bit more money, I can become a coach. And then from a coach, I could help him with his community. I mean, this just blew up for me. It was amazing. So that was my journey into it. And I did that for about a year. And it was great. Just two calls a week for me. I jumped on. I was part of these, specific communities within and just helped talk guys through their shit. It wasn't therapy per se, but it's all therapy. It wasn't, I'm not a therapist, but I work with therapists.
Yeah. Well, and then if you stay within the book, like you're just talking about principles in the book, you're not giving counsel.
Yeah.
You're just like, this is how I understand the book. And just so that you know, sports fans, the book is based on, and no more Mr. Nice Guy, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just going to throw out my loose interpretation, is that there's a belief, men believe that if they behave in a certain manner, then they should reciprocate a certain type of behavior. For example, if I work hard, I show up and I do this, well, then you're happy to stay at home and support me and, take care of the household or raise the kids. And the fact of the matter is that this is a covert contract. It's a belief that's not very often communicated. It's just thought that everybody feels this way. If I take care of you, you'll take care of me, the golden rule. And the truth is that is absolutely false. It is not how it works. The thing that this book goes into is the different ways that we then manipulate our partner or show up to get them to do whatever it is that we want. And it has quite an extensive list. And I've got my 2 or 3 favorite things, but when I was reading it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I totally am trying to manipulate my partner by the quid pro quo type of behavior. And when I started to identify what I was doing, and I actually had a forthright conversation with my partner, she kind of confronted me on that. Like, I know that you do that. So I wasn't fooling anybody. I'm not secretly manipulating anyone.
Well, you're fooling yourself.
Yeah, I'm fooling myself to believe that if I behave a certain way, I should receive a certain type of behavior back. And what an eye opener it was for me. And it just changed my relationship completely.
What's interesting about the covert contracts, and this is the golden nugget in this book, in my opinion, right? When guys go, oh my God, I fucking do that. I do that.
Yeah.
The thing is, I look at that and I don't say there's a malfunctioning mechanism. There's a mechanism that's working absolutely just as it should inside all of us. The problem is how it has been turned around a little bit, right? So let's go back to that block. We don't see it in ourselves, but we can see it outwardly. Of course, your partner can see it in you, but you can't see it in yourself. But what we're doing with covert contracts is just trying to get our needs met. There's like no human on the planet should be robbed of that right. Now, because we operated to get those needs met in this covert contract way, we've fooled ourselves. So therefore, we think other people are supposed to follow those same, you got fooled, I got fooled, let's all be fooled together. And that's where it becomes like, what the fuck? So we just need to, it's not that we need to say, stop getting your needs met so that you're not a manipulating, nice guy.
Yeah.
It's
ask for what you want.
Get your needs met in judicious ways,
Yeah.
in honest, authentic, serious ways. So if you want something, you fucking ask for it.
Open your mouth.
Nobody's going to walk up and be like, oh man, you look thirsty. Here's a cup. That's not their job.
Yeah. How did you know I wanted a cup of water? I wanted a cup of Monster.
And then there's that.
There's all these different little rules that start to come into this dynamic. And I love the idea that, when I asked my partner, Annie, I'll just say, when I asked Annie and I told her like, hey, this is, in order for me to feel loved, respected, intimacy, like these different categories, because they're not the same. This is what I need. And she was like, whoa, that was really great. And then she told me what she needed. That really melted my noodle because I was not doing any of those things. And it really made a huge difference. I had no idea. I had no idea what she needed to do in order to feel loved, because we all treat others the way that we would like to receive love. And that might be through touch or words of affirmation. Neither one of those was for her. Those are my two favorite. I love those. And hers, she wanted me to empty the dishwasher. I thought she was bullshitting me. I'm like,
You're like, that's not a love language.
yeah. Like what it,
I mean, it is. It's
right.
acts of service.
acts
right?
of
But-
service.
right.
She wanted, and she doesn't like it when I leave my dishes in the sink. I don't put my dishes in the dishwasher because every time I do, she goes in and she rearranges it because I can't do that right. That Rubik's Cube is beyond my
Yeah, we're never going to get that right.
comprehension. Thank you, man. Thank you. So I was just doing that as kindness. I thought I was doing something nice, and boy, I was wrong. And so when I started taking my dishes, even if I'm putting them in there wrong,
It's better than nothing.
yeah, it was still right. It was still right. Who knew? And so it's not just the mirror and seeing where I was. It was like a two-way mirror. Like all of a sudden she's like starting to share with me like, oh, but by the way, this is what I need. Huh.
The freedom and safety to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Right. Cause let's point this out for real. Right. A place that we get stuck is we get in this conversation about humans help mirror other humans. So then we walk around thinking, oh, let me tell you what's wrong with you and tell you what's wrong with you. Well, without the proper mechanisms in place, such as you've invited me to do so, or we have safety and trust between us, then that becomes more of the noise and the static, less of the signal.
Yeah. Because nobody cares what I want. The only person that cares what I want, honestly, is me.
Let's be honest about that.
Yeah, let's just be honest about it. And that's what the book kind of tore away is like, if that's what you want, then you need to be able to open your mouth and communicate it in a way, a loving, authentic way. And so this is what I would really like to see in our relationship. And I think it blew Annie's mind that I had expectations that she wasn't meeting, because she's an amazing partner. Anyone who knows Annie would say, Rob, you are one lucky son of a gun to have that girl by your side. But I had all kinds of, what's the word? I was mad at her all the time because she was not meeting my expectations that she had no idea.
Covert.
They were.
Resentment? Is that
resentment?
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I was king of resentment. We had that shit dialed. And so the book is really fascinating. I would recommend it to any man who's ever thinking about being in any relationship with anybody. Ever, because it changed my relationship with my kids, changed my relationship at work. Because I have expectations of my business partners that they didn't know about. And I would have to catch myself like, dude, I'm feeling resentment. Have I actually communicated to Topher that that's not okay, that he behaves that way around me? Like, or say that or whatever, because it's okay to have those feelings. It's okay to not.
Well, 95% of the time, the other partner or other person doesn't know.
Yeah. They would like to know.
They don't know.
Yeah. Thanks for telling me. You know what I mean? And that's what I got back. Here's the other part was the Grand Canyon jump, the Evel Knievel move of jumping across the Snake River, being like, oh my God, I'm going to share this with her. And the odds of me being rejected, which is a big fear for a lot of men, for me especially, it was a big fear, this rejection. Was there, but so there I go. I hit the ramp. I'm flying across the Grand Canyon. I'm being authentic. I'm telling her what I want, and she received it like, oh, that's good information to have. Yeah. Like I was just I was blown away. And then that creates trust in me, and then she feels that safety, and here we go. And so I probably need to revisit that book because it's been about a year now. I think that we have a tendency to habitually have covert contracts. And so I should probably read that again.
Well, I mean, that's the journey of embodiment, right? That's a word that actually throughout this entire journey I've been on, that word keeps popping up and I've misunderstood it, right? Embodiment is you've read the book, you know the curriculum, you know the practices, then you go into your life and you kind of mentally pull out the notebook and go, okay, did I do 1 before 2 and 2 before 3? And that's not embodiment. And that's okay. And nobody's a bad person for that. That's just, you haven't learned it yet. In other words, you have not taken it into your body where your body knows how to act in this situation without the checklist, where your body responds naturally this way. That's embodiment. So just like you, I've read the book multiple times where I take it and I jump into, put me in the game, coach. Let me practice. Let me try this out. Fuck, I missed the shot. Let me go back and read the book. How am I supposed to do this? So, it's this process of getting there. So, for me at least, I would say this to your listeners and you and anybody I'm giving advice to is look for that embodiment piece, right? Because I was the guy, and I've been around so many guys who are just like, oh, no more Mr. Nice Guy? Well, let me tell you about this book. Well, let me tell you about this book. Well, I've got a stack of these books. Oh, these self-help books. They're amazing. And we all get bloated gluttonous on this information that we're not doing anything with. We're not embodying it. So it's like, what am I supposed to do? Literally have a mind that cross-references page 2 of No More Mr. Nice Guy with page 3 of this one over here, and then have the magic system like a spell. No, fuck all that. Come on. Like,
Yeah.
So it's about
We're scientists.
We are, but we don't need to be in this one. We just need normal behavior.
Yeah.
You know. So now we've embodied, or we should have embodied, these practices so we can act accordingly.
When I say scientist, I mean like I'm here to. Here's my hypothesis.
Testing it, yeah.
And I'm going to try it. Nope.
Oops, back it up.
Yeah, that did not work. Now, then try again. Like you were just saying, I'm just running the experiment. The thing that's interesting is I asked Annie when we read that book, what is it you need in order to feel intimacy? That's one of the questions that's kind of acute in that book. And she gave me a very direct answer, and it was about the dishes. So I asked her last week, what is it you need in order to feel intimacy? Totally different answer this time. Totally different. And so us guys, we have to be like continually like discovering, because these women are a moving target. They're not like us boys where it's like, well, it's because I want to have sex. That's the one thing that would really move the needle in my book. You know what I mean? Or whatever.
It's a very simple formula.
Yeah.
Very, very simple.
But these ladies, they're a moving target, and you have to be consistently asking the important questions.
You have to, or else you're going to make yourself, as a guy, you're going to make yourself go crazy, right? This is another, how many times have you been in this conversation? Well, I fucking did it the way that she wanted, and now she's not happy again. Women are hard to please, and then we get frustrated. Just accept that it's a moving target.
Yeah.
It's not a game meant to fuck us over. It's a moving target because biology is a moving target.
Yeah.
Think about your bodies. I mean, I'm just going to go here. If you are masturbating to certain content, you don't jerk off to the same fucking thing every time. You're allowed to have your change in preferences from one day to the next, or move it into something else. I don't care. Maybe it's comic books or movies or whatever. Feminine energy is going to be the same, because feminine energy is like flowing water, bubbles that don't have a wall to bounce off of. Of course, they're going to change position. Let's flow with that. What the fuck is wrong with that?
The thing is
today, and it's something else tomorrow.
It's not subtractive with women. It's it's additive.
Yeah.
So now it's the dishwasher plus that.
You pass that level.
Yeah,
now
yeah.
it's
And once it's a habit, then we forget about that, and it's time to just move on to
the next thing.
Yeah,
which is, it's wonderful. I when I die, the first thing I want to ask God is like, why did you make me so fascinated with that shape? Because
the shape of a woman.
The shape of a woman. What was it that you switched in me? Because that's a tricky subject. Like I'm working on that. I'm 55 and I still have no idea where the operator's manual went.
Yeah, because they didn't issue one.
They're rewriting it.
They just didn't issue one.
Rewriting it right now.
They're changing it.
That's awesome. Good stuff. Let's jump to let's jump to the shame. Let's talk about the shame.
Good.
Because it's a word. I've spent quite a bit of time with Tim, and the word shame is something that we talk about quite often. And in the men's condition, or the human condition for men, I've never been in the human condition for women, so I'm not sure if it equates the same. So this might be just for the boys.
I feel like it is, but that's just me. Don't ask me. I'm in a weird place.
So how does shame, I guess, erode your quality of life?
Let me first say that shame itself is the most insidious, covert, hidden, in the middle of every single fucking thing you can think of, thing in existence. So if we talk about having this blocker to see ourselves, shame is one of the mechanisms that helps block that. Right? Like we might say somebody who is egotistical or super full of themselves can't tell that they are, right? Well, shame works in that same way. It actually even works in the same part of the brain. So let's just boil this down real quick. Shame and guilt are typically thrown in the same conversation interchangeably. Guilt and shame, it's that guilt and shame, right? I've just been a part of that so much that I started thinking, what the fuck is the difference?
What is the difference?
Right?
I don't know if I can tell you.
The problem is that most people couldn't tell you the difference. That's the problem. That's the devil hiding in plain sight, in my opinion.
Okay, I got my pen. Let's go.
Guilt is you did something and you are guilty of doing that thing. If I hurt you, I am guilty of hurting you. Now, if I have feelings of remorse over that so I don't do it again, that's a healthy function. Shame is never a healthy function. Shame is the mechanism that says, I am a bad person And my fear is that I will get kicked out of society. And without the safety of society, I won't thrive and I will die. This is a very old, archaic human fear. So it shows up everywhere. Maybe it's traffic. You're driving and somebody honks at you because you went too fast or too slow. Maybe it's you're drinking and you feel bad because you should have had one less drink. Maybe it's you bought the wrong thing and your partner's mad at you. So you're like, man, I can't believe I fucked up again. All this stuff pops up over and over and over again to the point that we don't even notice it. You're not a bad person, no matter what, Rob.
That's shame.
That's shame.
That's okay. I'm identifying it for me. I want to be clear. Sure. Shame is me saying because of I am a bad person.
I am. Think of that keyword there. So I am means you've identified with it.
Right.
Identified with it means
it's who
you see
I am.
yourself that way.
Yeah.
That's who you are.
As bad.
As bad, right? As bad. That's the problem.
Okay. However, if I have committed this injustice and I'm like, that was good, I shouldn't do that again, but it doesn't change who my identity is, then that is healthy guilt.
That is healthy guilt. 100%. That's exactly right. So I would say if anybody starts getting that pit, that stomach, that feeling of like I am bad or whatever, pause and reflect for even a split second. Am I a bad person? Unequivocally, no matter what, the answer always is no. Of course you're not. No matter what you've done. Rob, if you didn't have the ambitions that you do with Thanksgiving Heroes, if you just sat around the home all day long and just watched TV and didn't do anything to benefit society, does that make you a bad person? Of course not, right? And so we have to examine the structures around us that are telling us things like that. Maybe we live in a workforce-focused world that says, well, if you haven't contributed as much as everybody, you are a bad person.
Can I tell you, when you said that, I thought, yeah, I would be a bad person. That's how identified I am with shame.
Yeah.
Because when you said that, I honestly thought, well, yeah, that would be bad.
But why? I would still reach out to you and say, Rob, man, I love you.
Yeah.
I love your heart. You're breathing. You're human. You're worthy of that.
Okay. So you're talking about in our identity, you're talking about the divine, our divine nature, our higher self, our spark of God, or whatever your language is. When we were born perfectly made. That's what you're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm not so I personally reject this whole concept of original sin, right? The need for forgiveness from something outside of yourself, all of that, you know? Now, let's be honest. If you feel bad because you have shame, you're still letting shame work.
If you feel bad because you have shame, because shame regardless is identifying with it. You've personified it.
So the whole trick here is stop identifying with it.
Okay, so devil's advocate, just
please.
I love this, by the way. This is awesome. That's why you're on the show.
Yeah.
So the thing that I want to ask is then how, because there are people who are, no, it's not true then. There are people who should feel guilt and don't. They behave poorly. They commit crimes. They do evil and they don't feel that. That's a bad person.
In so many words, but that's a person that still has every right to live. Now, I'm not challenging judicial systems that we've come up with that says, hey, man, this man committed multiple murders and we've all decided as humanity we want him off the planet, right? Like, I mean, I'm not trying to challenge any of those systems. We're not talking about that. We're talking about day-to-day grocery shopping, for crying out loud.
Okay. I accidentally didn't pay for that gum.
Yeah. So exactly. There's a perfect example. You walk out of the store, you accidentally didn't pay for the gum. You pull it out and you go, oh, man, and you run inside to pay for it and there's 3 clerks sitting right there with their arms folded. What did you just do?
Yeah.
There's shame starting to work. Does that guy really deserve to be? And let me just take this one step further. Sorry to cut myself off, but like shame then manifests in physical symptoms, right?
For example,
head bowed, shoulders slumped, right? Whether these are actually happening in your body or you're mentally thinking of them, that's how we would have made ourselves smaller as penitence for doing something bad in the group or in our earlier days, right? So this biology is playing out. So we get this general mindset and belief, I'm bad, hump my shoulders, make myself smaller. And then you get to, I don't deserve, I don't get to receive.
I am unworthy. Oh my God.
And
I am so chronic in this space that there's more than just those physical components. Like, I think that it's caused me depression in my life. It's caused me
100%.
Points where I didn't want to live anymore. I felt so distraught at my inability to be a good person that I wanted to end my life. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, this shame is everywhere in my life. And I think that it caused me to be overweight. I think it caused me to be a lot of things because I was just holding on to this energy that wasn't serving me. Now, I'm going to say I came to a point where I realized, wait a second. This isn't working. Why am I doing this to myself? Oh, and that's the other part, is that when I went back into the store with my pack of gum, I don't need them to put shame on me. I've already felt guilt. Oh, I didn't pay for the gum, and gone back in. I'm already enough of a critic on myself. There is no voice more critical in this world than the one that's running on right now. You follow me?
Of course.
And so
that's the point.
That is the point. And that's the giver of shame, that voice. That's the one that's whispering all the time.
And so we have, let's take this even a little bit deeper. We have this general mistrust in society where we think we should be the ones to impart this shame for someone that did something bad because we don't trust that their mechanisms to make themselves feel guilty are actually working.
Whoa.
Right. So if I'm the clerk putting shame on you, it's because I don't think that you've actually felt bad enough when you turned around and came back inside.
Yeah.
Do I actually know that to be true? No, of course not. You felt bad. You did this.
I came back.
So as a clerk, I'm just saying it would be so much better if I welcomed you back in. Oh my gosh, thank you for realizing that. And there are plenty of people on the planet that do that. I'm not saying, but like, thank you for doing that. I appreciate the gratitude. I appreciate you paying for it. I appreciate you solving this on your own. Have a nice day.
Yeah.
You haven't wronged me because you've fixed it.
Listen, people going to church, I'm just going to say this across the board. I don't care if you're going to the well, K2, you name your church. If you can keep this principle in your head, your church will be full of righteous principles and people will come. Because a lot of the reasons that people don't go to church, a lot of reasons I've left churches is because somebody felt an entitlement, a need to make me feel worse than I already felt by enforcing their belief. And that's not what God would want. I don't think that's what Jesus would have wanted. If I could use Jesus or anyone, nobody wants to feel that way.
It's right there in the second commandment. Love thy neighbor as thyself.
Boom.
Why the fuck are you going to treat somebody as apart from you in order to impart shame? Like we're casting spells to make everybody sick around us. Is that the world we want to live in? No, of course not.
No.
What are you sacrificing of yourself to not throw shame out? What are you giving up?
Nothing. In fact, you're taking the poison too. If I'm shooting on you, get what I mean? Like if I'm that clerk and I'm putting that on you, that's
putting it on me.
Yeah, that's poison. And I'm just putting it on me. I'm putting it back on myself because there is no giving without getting a little back.
And so then that's the thing, right? If we can find that in our heads, if this could make sense to anybody listening, anybody struggling with this, if you can find that layer and make that make sense, lift it off and abundance starts flowing, gratitude starts happening, relationships get better, family life, work life, all this stuff, all these opportunities start opening up. That's exactly what's happened in my life and exactly what I've seen happen in the lives of many other people.
I want to say anytime that I've gone to a religion or a faith or anything else, the shame component of their lives is not based on their faith. It's a social thing. Mm-hmm. It's a cultural thing. It's not like I think I beat myself up way more than was necessary than the dogmas I grew up in, and it wasn't necessary. In fact, my dogma that I grew up in was quite kind. Like they would have wanted me to feel welcomed. They would have wanted me to feel included, but because of the way that I interpreted it, I shamed myself out of it.
Yeah.
And it's hard to go back. And like if you're a Christian and Christ actually paid the price, which any Christian who would consider themselves a card-carrying member would say, that's what he did it for. Well, they should be high-fiving all the way. They should be hugging people, and that there should be no shame in their life because they're doing the right thing. Now,
did you get the message this weekend?
Yeah.
It's about the giver. It has nothing to do with deeds or anything like that. God literally, it's because he loves us. That's why it was done. In his design, shame has actually no part of anything.
So where does it come in? Is it part of the enforcement of the culture? Like, why is shame so prevalent everywhere I look?
So let's back up again. We have to me, my brain says, I got to get to the root of why this even exists in the first place. So to answer your question again, I think it starts as that function of, and it is fear-based, of course, but that's a function of survival. Again, we don't want to be kicked outside of the group. This is in general. I'm kind of a recluse of my own. I like being by myself. I'm not worried about that. But this exists in humans, right? We're pack animals. We want to be related and associated and safe in numbers. So originally, if we dropped a boulder on the chief's daughter and killed her, they'd kick me out of the group. Then I'm on my own with nothing to fend for myself. And so of course I'm going to feel like, oh my God, please forgive me. Please, I didn't mean to. Please, whatever. And I'm not saying it even had a place there, but this is where it starts. Our brain goes, I'm seeking survival, inclusion, safety, connection, and we don't want to lose that. So it does start there, and we have to acknowledge that, okay, it maybe exists for a reason, but let's be smart enough then to say, but we don't need to walk around like who's really going to stand up and say, you stole a pack of gum, get the hell out of Salt Lake. You don't belong here. This is not the world we live in right now. So it has no place.
No, shame really is an inside job.
It is.
And so that's why I like to talk about it. And when we do our men's groups, shame, it might not be the subject of what we're there for, but it is the subject of what we're there for. Mm-hmm. We're talking around it all the time. And a lot of the language I use in the men's groups, the retreats that I do, is talking about how then do you, because as a man, if I can feel significant and loved by doing that for myself, filling my own cup, then I'm a better dad, I'm a better husband, I'm a better friend to my brothers. Like it just is how it is. But there's that shame that's like a hole in the bottom of the bucket that's pulling my ability to be all of those things out. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm never going to find happiness if I believe I'm not worthy of it.
That filling the bucket analogy is a really good one. That's actually big in Dr. Glover's work and No More Mr. Nice Guy. Do you mind if I dive into his analogy with that?
Do you like how I brought that around?
I love that you did. It's like 6 degrees to Kevin Bacon. We'll always find some connection back to Mr. Nice Guy. But he talks about it this way, that each person carries a bucket, but the feminine forward creatures, women traditionally, but I'm not going to stop there. But the feminine forward creatures, feminine energy has a bucket that drains like it should and no way to fill it back up. So masculine energy fills the bucket. This is his model. So if a woman's trying to fill her own bucket, she's filling a bucket that will constantly empty itself. Now, masculine forward creatures fill buckets, and then we empty them or keep them empty by not getting our needs met, right? So let's just in a model say we fill our own bucket first with no holes in it, and we use that overflow to then fill the bucket of others around us. So in getting our needs met, in not being covert contracts, and getting rid of the shame and being fully abundant in our lives, our bucket is so full we can't even comprehend. And so that's when we fill buckets for other people. I love that analogy because it just kind of shows the responsibility we have, not to others first, to ourselves first. If we're not the best version that we can be, we're not contributing to society. It's not my job to make society a better place by learning how to be the world's best rock star, to be on a stage, to project all over TV and concerts to people. My job is to look myself in the mirror every single day and say, you're the shit. You're amazing. I love you with all my heart. Let's do the best that we can. Fill my bucket first and then fill others.
And then give yourself grace again and again and again, because you're going to continue to, I have continued to fall short of my own expectations, my covert contracts with myself, because we can have those. You can have a belief that if you do this, this, and that, then you're going to be happy. One day when I finally get that motorcycle, then that's it. I'm there. There's endless covert contracts that we have inside and out. Oh man, it's so good. This is good stuff. It's interesting that at this stage of my life that I'm in such a crazy cool place for discovery. Like learning these things is like, that makes such great sense. I kind of knew that, but like just putting it in those words, it's amazing.
There's a layer of curiosity that I'm seeing in adults like, you and definitely in you too. And in our groups and in friends and everything, there's this layer of curiosity I've never seen before. And I think it's the coolest thing. As an artist, it's my nature to be curious. Yeah. And so I possess that. And I've definitely looked around and been like, man, I have this gift that I don't necessarily see in the world around me, but I'm seeing more and more of it. Right. And to me, that's the allegory of be like a child. That, bring it back to Christ. He doesn't say that so that you can be dependent and diapered and needy. Fed and needy. He says that so you can be wonderful, full of wonder, not attached, curious, and finding out what the hell does any of this stuff even mean. Yeah. I love it. Like that's one of the best qualities that we can have. Be curious. Ask that question. And you know what stops us from asking questions? Shame.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I definitely was raised in that, like, if you have to ask that question, it must be because you're stupid and you haven't learned it already.
Oh yeah.
Shame.
Yeah. And then your fear of being actually stupid.
Yeah.
Shame.
Be stupid, be dumb, excuse the term, not literally, but like be not knowing.
Yeah.
And go learn something.
And honestly, I've never had, so when I first got into real estate, they have a part that's a math class.
Sorry.
No. Go ahead. Why are you laughing? I
think we all know what's go. Finish your story.
Not my favorite. Not my favorite. I grew up in a household where my mom's mantra was, I hate math. I'm actually quite good at math.
Yeah.
I'm really pretty good at it. Not knowing. I didn't know that because I had the mantra, I hate math. And so every time I get a lesson, I had this. Anyway, I go into this math class and we're sitting there and they're talking about calculating annual percentages and, you know, all of these different things when it comes to finance and stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God. But I'm an old guy now. You know what I mean? And so he got to the end of it. He turned around, the teacher turned around and said, does anybody have any questions? And rather than, as I did before, where I'm like, no, I don't have any questions. I don't know what just happened, but I would do not. I raised my hand. I'm like, yeah, go again.
Yeah. Whole thing over.
Just line it up again.
Run it again. Same numbers. Don't even switch it up. Just run it again. And he's like, for real? And I'm like, yeah. And then by the second or third time, people were like, ugh. And I'm like, I'm here to learn, boy. I do not care. I didn't have shame.
Yep.
In that, and I learned it, and that part of the test crushed it. I crushed it because I took the time to honestly say, I don't know. And there was so many students. There's a guy left.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's just like, I've had enough of this. I'm like, see ya. I'm glad you got this figured out. Truth is when he walked out, the thing that I thought is, I wonder if he knows this or if he is just pretending like I've done my whole life.
And then are you supposed to live the rest of your day thinking like, oh man, I ruined somebody's opportunity in this class? No, you passed the test. Now your life is better. You're happier. Great.
Yeah. And the teacher, frankly, was like, okay, let's go again. Yeah, he was stoked that somebody was brave enough to be like, yeah.
Or the fact that somebody was paying attention.
Yeah.
Or that.
Yeah. Your math is not mathing. I was saying like really intelligent things like that. So I love stepping into that. There's a Ted Lasso episode. Do you ever watch Ted Lasso?
I need to watch it again.
Oh man. Yeah. Have you ever seen it?
I've heard of it plenty. It's been recommended.
No, you have to watch it. Dude, you have to watch it.
Probably one of the best series I've seen in years.
That's just Jason Sudeikis, right?
Yeah. And he's got one-liners in this thing. Not like funny one-liners. It's not like that. But like
he's off.
Well, the whole believe, anything.
Be curious.
Be curious
is one of the themes of the movie or of the show. And he talks about like, as soon as you stop being curious, and it's just so well delivered that it's like, that's a solid principle. It's delivered like you're laughing one time and the next, like, I've got a journal about that. That's a solid principle. Through the whole show, the whole series, it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous series, but it's worth. I should watch it again too.
I want to watch it again. Be a goldfish.
Right.
That's the advice.
That's my baseball analogy.
Yeah,
that is 100%. How fast can you forget?
So you can do it right and try again,
dude. And that's it, right? That points to non-attachment. That's this whole thing. Like we're talking religion, so I'm going to go to the side of Buddhism, right? The core of these Eastern religions and Buddhism, especially, is that our suffering comes from attachment to outcomes. We expect things to be a certain way, and when we can't fathom it, that's our suffering. And so, be like a goldfish. You're right. Don't attach to so much. It's okay. We don't need to retain all this stuff. Let it come and go.
Yeah. That is good. I listen to, I've got a Buddhist monk that I listen to in the mornings on YouTube, and he talks about CC&J, and one of them is just how you have judgment and then your expectations, how expectations are really what creates unhappiness in our lives. And it's so good.
Trauma too. I saw a therapist one time, great guy. We had session after session, and he one time explained to me that his definition of trauma was unmet expectations. The analogy he gave was if a child, for example, expects to be, and they should, in a home that is safe and loving, but then they have a parent who's not safe or loving, they experience trauma. Right. So that's an extreme example, but any time we have expectations that aren't met, it's suffering, but it also causes what we would clinically call a traumatic response. So right. It's like lowering expectations. And I'm not talking about lowering bars of, quality and things like that. Expect the hell out of yourself. That's totally fine. But if you're attached to that, if you're identified with that, if you're locked in, it's got to be this way or nothing. Well, that's closed-minded and it's non-progressive and it's detrimental to your happiness for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So compare, criticize, and judge are the CC and J. I just gonna throw that out there. And we compare ourselves to others. We criticize others with our expectations. You should. And then judgment, of course, always is never a healthy thing.
I love it.
So amazing stuff. Well, listen, as we're going through this and we're talking about shame and the place that it has in our lives, the thing that occurred to me also is the time that I've made the greatest jumps, started Thanksgiving's Heroes or a company or, the risks that we take in our lives. I had a very low, like if you do a ratio, if there was a chart out there, my shame ratio was extremely low because I had a high self-belief. I can do this. Why can't I do this? That fat guy down in Orem could do it. I can do it better than that guy or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And so I had this, it's a crazy thing. But then as I lean into my shame and I just love this. I just love to feel like crap. I'm so good at it, beating myself up and dragging myself over the coals. Then my ability to be successful drops because I don't believe that someone would buy my product. I don't believe somebody that would want to talk to me. I'm not worthy of closing that deal because I'm a piece of shit. And so it's insidious in my business where you have to have a low level of shame. You have to believe in what you're doing. You have to feel really good about it. Otherwise, nobody else will feel good about it.
May I say, not even just in your business, I think this is as important in your business as it is in everybody else's life. That's
in what regard?
In that, with shame gone, you're back to your baseline, your birthright of abundance, right? So let me put it this way. We live in a world that is full of scarce-minded thinking. If I spend this money, I don't have enough for that over there. If I need to make more money, I don't have enough of this over there. Oh, we don't have enough for that. I need to get that. Oh, if that guy has it, I can't have it. Oh, the 1%, the 99%, all this bitching and moaning about billionaires in the world and keeping it from other people and all this garbage, these mindsets is what I'm talking about. That's scarcity. That's where we live. It's a zero-sum game. If you have, I can't. But if I have, you can't. That's not our natural state. Our natural state, our baseline is abundance. So we think that we need to go from scarcity and learn how to be abundant by doing meditations and manifestations and listening to Joe Dispenza so we can get abundant. What's really happening is we're lifting off the imposed scarcity.
Raising frequency,
all the methods to get there.
Sure.
I'm just streamlining this visualization to get to our baseline, which is abundance. So you lift the shame off. You lift all these things that are blockers, keeping you stuck in the mud.
Yeah.
And of course, you're going to be abundant. Of course, things are going to work for you. That's the model. That's the magic. That's it.
That is amazing. I've been around people that are magnetic, that have this ability to manifest. And that is a commonality in all of them.
It's belief.
Yeah.
And belief supersedes shame.
Yeah. Yeah. They have a very low shame, high belief.
That's it.
Ratio.
That's the magic. Everyone out here getting
math,
books and all this stuff. It's math. Yeah. That's it. If you learn that, you've got the entire game figured out.
Well, then let's talk about this. What are some methods that we can do to be conscious around shame? Because I don't believe that there's an elimination of said shame. I think that it's a consciousness around it. It's like diet. You know what I mean? Like every once in a while, you're going to sneak in that Snickers bar. Like it sneaks in. Things happen. Birthday cakes happen. But then how do I have a healthy lifestyle that I am minimizing this energy?
That's the perfect question. So now we're getting a little more surgical with it, right? We just talked pretty much surface level, but you want to get a little more into it. It's not shame itself. Right. So that's the part that if we're stuck in a loop of I have shame, therefore I'm shameful, and therefore, but that's the loop, right? So it's not shame itself, it's the identification with it. So let me just back up and say it could be shame, it could be your habits of driving a car, it could be the toys that you love to buy and play with, smoking cigarettes, doesn't matter what it is. If you identify with it, you're setting yourself up for a problem. That's the issue. Now, I don't want to go so far as to say we shouldn't have any identity. You're Rob. And I love you for who you are, separate from me. even though I believe at the core we're all one, but your identity matters to a degree. But when we start identifying with everything, and then especially shame, that's the problem. Well, what does it mean to identify with something?
So I'm a biker. I am a bowler. I am a.
Here's an example. I run marathons. I try to eat clean as much as I can. I've learned about nutrition and how it works for my body. I keep a very healthy and fit lifestyle, but it's not about that. Right. So what I did before is I was smoking and I was drinking and I was whatever, but I owned that. If I walked into a bar, I had cowboy boots on, big old beard, cigarette in my hand. I was Tim. I was that guy. I was that kind of that Wolverine style archetype, right? The guy that just didn't need anybody. And I was a little gruff and I didn't care about that. That was my identity. Well, that's not my identity anymore. Right. So this is maybe just an example of now I identify with those things that I told you about. But even then, I actually don't. Like, I don't care. I don't walk around saying, hey, man, I'm a marathon runner. Hey, man, I'm a marathon runner. Yeah. I'm just Tim. So identity are these things that you just go, that is me. Well, if your identity is, I don't know, some gruff, rough and tumble cowboy, would you ever wear a pink shirt out in public? Well, unless you go to that tough enough to wear pink, right? Think about that.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? Oh God, what would people think of me in a pink shirt?
Don't care. I'm rough and tough.
Identity.
Yeah.
But also, if everyone had their eyes closed and you had this pink shirt on and it was keeping you nice and warm, would anybody on the fucking earth give a fuck about that? No. So what are we doing to ourselves? Stop identifying with these things. That's exactly it, right? So it's identifying with shame that's the problem. I am bad. That's the problem.
You know, I am thinking about the things I've identified as, and I've had a lot. I am a successful real estate agent until the economy shifts. You know, then I'm still pretty successful, but my success then is determined by what, right? Or I identified. Oh man, this is a good one. I identified as a healthy man, and then I broke my leg, and I couldn't wash my own body. You know, my mobility was completely gone. I couldn't stand up. I'd have my friends come over and install a ramp so I could just get into my house. Like I was completely at others, or no, not even healthy. I'm an independent man.
Independent, yeah.
And I'm not. It's an illusion. I'm only as dependent as mobility will allow. I'm lucky that I have people who love me. And so I had to shift gears, and I did a lot of journaling about this from that to what really am I? I'll tell you. Can you mind if I share a couple?
Please, yeah.
And some of these are deeply personal, but I'm loved. I am. At the end of the day, I'm surrounded by people who really love me. I'm worthy. And you can put worthy of a lot. What? Worthy of goodness, worthy of happiness, worthy of all the good things. I am worthy of those things. There's nothing I can do to deteriorate my position in God's eyes. My God doesn't make mistakes. My God made me. As fucked up as I am.
He knew you before you were born.
He knew me before I was born. The very
he
words.
He knitted you in the womb.
And so I have a hard time feeling as though I when I'm in that knowing, I have a hard time feeling shame and guilt, because even with all my problems, habits, addictions, my anger, I get really angry when I'm hungry.
We know.
Yeah, everyone who's been around me longer than one meal knows this. And
Get
so
him a cracker.
Oh yeah, anything. And so, but all of that being said, I'm the robbiest Rob that you're ever going to meet. There's no other Rob Adams that's just like this one. There's no one. I'm perfectly made in this space. And that gives me the grace to be forgiving about my space.
You've accepted who you actually are. Right. So this may be confused with identity. I'm definitely talking about something much deeper than identity. Yeah. Like you said, I am worthy. There's no amount of identity that is needed there. That's your birthright. That's your abundant, or that's your baseline.
Made that way.
Exists.
Yeah.
That is. Yeah. That just is truth.
It is.
There's no identity there.
Yeah.
And how important that is to like have those things, right? But it's being authentic. It's knowing who you are. I can't tell you how most of my life I've been running away from who I actually am in favor of how do others see me. Like there was even a part of my life where I was too shameful to even admit that. That's that shame block that keeps you stuck. But yeah, man, I'm totally that guy. That's like, I care what people think about me. Yeah. But you know what? It's actually a superpower for me because I faced it head on, accepted it, faced my demons and said, that's great. And so the more I do that kind of stuff, the more that I unveil and unravel and show myself who I actually am. That's authenticity. I'm being me, and that's it. Like that almost sounds too simple to be like the answer, but that's the answer.
Well, the thing that's interesting about that is it's there's a duplicity that's happening in there where if I truly believe that about myself, then I shouldn't have to worry about what others think of me.
Yeah.
But the truth is that nearly everybody on the planet is in the same illusion of, well, what would they think? And because of that, they are paralyzed in being their authentic self. And as I grow older, the more I've learned, the more that Rob I can be. You know, I can't be Topher. I can't ride a motorcycle like he does. I can't do what he does. He's uniquely Topher, but man, I really look up to him. But when I try to be him in his sales practices or anything, I will fail. And I've had mentors that I really wanted to be like. I wanted to be like George. That guy knew how to deliver a line. He was impactful. He communicated well. But I couldn't be George. And the more I tried to be George, I came across as inauthentic. And people could tell.
Yep.
Everyone knows right away.
Yep.
But when I'm just being Rob and I'm just connecting at that level, feeling however it is I feel, hungry, otherwise, people totally respect and appreciate it. It's like and here's the weird part is I then am attracting more of that into my life. I'm around more authentic people, more people that actually want me to be more me. And I want them to be more themselves. And we're holding one another up, creating success and wealth.
And that's the key right there, right? Like my mindset would say, well, if I'm authentically me, people might reject me for that. 100% that's true.
That's the Snake River.
That's the Snake River.
Right.
But what ends up happening is the world that you lived in of people who would reject you for being yourself actually disappears, goes away, and you attract the people that actually like you for being who you are. So it's not, you're right. Like the belief of if I am truly me and people will reject me, totally valid. Every single one of us will face that and it will be true.
Yeah.
But then the world that you live in shifts and you get rid of that bullshit of people that don't accept you, and the ones that do start surrounding you. Suddenly the stuff that you used to giggle your ass off that is so dumb that people would roll their eyes at, suddenly you're surrounded by people who are laughing at that same thing. And that matters.
Yeah. Oh, man. And it's liberating. When I say Snake River, listeners, I'm talking about Evel Knievel, one of my superheroes. That guy, all the Knievels, there's 3 of them. Evel Knievel, Robbie Knievel, and their daughter. I can't remember her name, but she's a ninja. Have you seen her?
She's doing stuff right now, right?
Yeah. Today.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a part where Evel Knievel jumped the Snake River in his rocket car. Do you guys remember that? You don't?
Is that the one from Canada to the U.S.? I saw some documentary about that one. That was another guy. Anyway, okay.
Another guy, yeah. But he tries to jump in his rocket car and doesn't make it. And so when I talk about the Snake River, I'm talking about a tremendous
failure.
And a tremendous risk. Like there's a lot of risk involved. Like there's me being authentic, me being myself without caring what you think about me that's the Snake River. That's a big jump, and I might crash. I might need the parachute to float to the bottom. You know what I mean? But the fact of the matter is every time I take that risk, every time I feel that fear, I have to be conscious of it and be like, now where's this coming from? Oh, I'm worried what Topher's going to think about me.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's none of my business what Topher thinks about me. What I'm going to give him is my most authentic self. And if he's not okay with it, that's Topher's problem. And the fact of the matter is Topher's never going to look at me and think, man, that guy, I don't want to be around him. Well, okay. That's problem solved. Like I don't need to worry about what he's thinking about me.
Mm-hmm. So you asked me a question earlier that you're actually answering right now, which is how do you know when shame's ruling your life? It's exactly that. If you have worries in your head that have to do with who you are and how you'll be rejected and how you may not, that challenge your authenticity, right? If those feelings come up in the pit of your stomach, everybody, please pause for a second and think, is this shame? That's it. That's the question. You're doing that. You're again identifying. Is it this? Is it this? Is it that? Yeah, find it everywhere.
Even where do you feel it in your body?
Where do you feel it in your body?
It's a weird thing. Annie asked me that a lot. Annie drives me crazy in this space because she makes me think about how I'm feeling all the time.
How dare she?
It's annoying. My God. I'm feeling hungry. Woman. But the fact is that she'll ask me, well, where do you feel that in your body? And it's surprising. Like sometimes I feel it like when I feel shame, I feel like right here in my chest. Like,
tightness,
yeah, right by my throat. Like I can't speak my truth. I'm fearful. I feel that tightness in my chest. And so like identifying it now when I feel that, like, okay, all right, there you are. I know who you are. Now why? Where's that going? Where did it come from? And sometimes it's interesting because I've shed a few dogmas in my life and I'll think to myself, I don't actually believe that anymore. I'm beating myself up over something that my parents brought to me that no longer serves me. And I'm going to let that shit go. And it feels so good to almost be like, oh man, that was, but it's so insidious that it sneaks in the back door and you're all of a sudden you're feeling a certain kind of way.
And that's it. And so then this mechanism of detecting it and identifying it, there's no magic pill. And honest to God, I don't think anybody's going to find it in a book, whether it's No More Mr. Nice Guy at all. It's literally just practicing over and over and over and over and over and over again.
Being a scientist, looking at your own self and saying, boy, I feel this way. Is that shame? Is this shame? Is that shame? I do that. I do it 100,000 times a day. Yeah.
Is this shame? Is this shame? Is this shame? Is this shame? Sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
And you only get there by practicing on yourself.
It's good stuff. I read a book once that talked about a cognitive disruption through counting. I've got a counter like they use in baseball.
Mm-hmm. There's only two ways to interrupt your
I think I've given you one.
There's a counter and breathing.
Yeah. So I'll spend time, if I want to bring consciousness to something, a lot of mine is negative thinking. I have this propensity to think negatively, not believe it's going to work out. Like I'm kind of a pessimist. And if I say that out loud around people, they'll be like, you're pretty optimistic, but it's a muscle that I've developed and I'll keep track of my negative thoughts. And then it's interesting. I'll start out the first day and I'll have 500 negative clicks, or it's like I'm thinking about the dude in front of me in his car on like all of the things. And then when I start paying attention to it, the clicks will go down and I'll be in like the 50s by the end of the week. If I start on Monday, it's that wow. Significant.
Big that. Yeah.
Yeah. But then I've also used it to like, I want to feel more abundance in my life. And so I start clicking when I feel I see abundance. And abundance is an interesting thing. It's not money for me. It's like, I've got an abundance of coffee cups. Like, look at that shelf. I can't fit another fucking cup on that shelf. We've collected them. It's time to throw you know what I mean? I have an abundance of shoes. I have abundance of health in my life. I have abundance of healthy daughters. I've got 4 of them. That's a significant abundance. And so it goes. And so this tracker, I've used it all over the place in my life because I want to either diminish or increase my consciousness around a type of thinking.
So important.
Yeah.
I love what you just said about abundance. Can I contrast something here that is huge for me? A lot of times we confuse gluttony with abundance, I think. Mm-hmm. Right? Like you'd said, the terminology of like, I have an abundance of X is an inaccurate use of that word abundance, in my opinion. Somebody could be completely broke, but getting the food that their body needs every single day, even if all that is 2 cans of tuna, if that's what their body needs. I'm not trying to go down to scarcity here. I'm just saying whatever they need, if they have that every single day without having to, I don't care. Like if they have that, that's abundance. Abundance is you have what you need when you need it. Gluttony is stacking up things without processing it or using it. Back to the analogy of guys with 100 books. That's me. I've got a bookshelf with every self-development book you could want. I haven't read all of them. So then what? I have a gluttony of books because I haven't gone through, processed, and used them. I don't necessarily have an abundance of books, right? So abundance, you're right. It's not just money. It's not like if somebody says, well, abundance means I have $1 million in the bank. That's not right.
Well, the thing that's interesting about that principle that you just said is that gluttony or abundance, however you want, whatever your definition is, will diminish your ability to feel abundance. The more we have,
of course,
the more we need, the less I've got. I have traveled the world. I love to travel, and some of the most abundant people that I've ever met are living in those huts that are melting because they're made out of mud. They're living in dirt. Every time it rains, their house changes shape because it's made out of mud, and they're just the happiest. Like they have nothing, and they're so happy. And the more I have, the less I have, the more I need. And I've got a beautiful camper at home, but I would really like the one that has the thing in the deal. You know what I mean? Or I've got a razor, and I take my friends out on it, but it doesn't go as fast as that dude's razor. Comparison, there it is. CC and J. And so abundance it's a slippery slope. And so that's why I count it sometimes and honestly, one of the reasons I do Thanksgiving's Heroes is because it puts me into a place of like, oh wait, I've got plenty of food.
Yeah.
I'm not living in scarcity because I have a tendency being raised without food. I'm a little bit of a food, like I get nervous.
Yeah.
And I've done it to the point where I put on a tremendous amount of weight because it's like, I'm going to eat all this I can. I got to get it in me now. Yeah. And that is not true. it's an interesting thing, abundance. So
it is. And we definitely this is my word of caution, but we definitely live in a society that is empowering all of us to like have as much as we want as quick as we can, like Amazon, those types of things. Now, I'm an Amazon shopper. I'm not trying to speak out against Amazon, but like you said, surrounding yourself with more and more and more stuff is trying to scratch that I want to feel abundance itch. But it's like the same exact correct model, just turned upside down and used incorrectly. Right. So again, abundance is having what you need when you need it, not having excess of something so that you can,
store it.
Yeah, store it. That's the thing. Like,
have it go to waste.
I had a friend whose ex-husband now, but at the time when she met him, he was very proud of himself from this avid Costco shopper. You go to his house, he has 20 times more toilet paper and 3 times more peanut butter cans, like in his thing. Okay, now you could say, well, man, that guy really likes eating toilet paper and peanut butter, and he likes toilet paper.
He wiped his butt with a peanut butter.
He likes all these stuff. You can say that, sure, but he's not eating the peanut butter.
Yeah,
and he's not like we're all using toilet paper, but come on, you know what I'm saying? Like there's just too much of that stuff. So that is I'm scared to lose it. I'm going to live in scarcity and pretend that I have abundance, but I actually have gluttony around me.
Well, here's the thing that I want to bring this back to really quickly, and this might be oversimplifying it, but the in knowing who I am eliminates a lot of the gluttony.
Yeah.
Because you follow me on this? Totally. I just feel as though when I know who I am and I know what God made me for, what my purpose is, what my function is, why I'm doing it, I'm really very clear about that. And this is a huge journal exercise that you can write. Like, what am I made for? What am I here for?
Who am I? What are my needs?
Yeah. What makes me happy? What really lights me up? When you get like really very granular on these things, and all of a sudden a lot of the nonsense, the needing to have all the peanut butter, the new boat, the new whatever it is, kind of goes away because all of a sudden you're enough.
Yeah. You filled your own bucket with your enoughness, not with Amazon purchases.
Right. Yeah. Because there's no delivery that is going to fill that bucket.
No.
And that is, I think, one of the big reasons we are sold not enoughness. We are, if anything, if you watch TV, you watch a commercial, they're telling you why you're not good enough.
Yeah.
Not pretty enough. Your digestive tract isn't working well enough. You don't have enough protein, like on and on we could go. Right. And it's just a lie.
And it's to drive the economy, Sure. I mean, it's to drive that I guess scarce-minded thinking means, FOMO, missing out. Like these things are being used to drive the economy. I'm not opposed to the economy. I'm not opposed to the ways that, we have money working and to make money. I'm not saying that, but like, you're right. Like the world that we live in is like, man, the only way to sell more, I think Amazon Day generates $10 billion for Amazon each Amazon Day.
That ain't bad.
It's not bad for them.
Yeah.
That's what they want. But like now, does the person with 10 Amazon boxes on their porch actually have happiness?
No. Nope. So they have that little dopamine hit.
It's dopamine, yeah.
They got that crystal.
It's fun to get stuff in the mail.
It is fun.
I don't care if it is the crystal light things. Yeah, it's fun to get stuff in the mail.
It's so fun. I'm not opposed. I mean, like you said, it's dopamine. I mean, there's very real research that goes into why this works, and even why we're living in such a society that needs those dopamine hits. I'm not here to speak out against cell phones, but we know that this is the most addictive thing we've ever encountered on recorded history in humanity.
Oh yeah, don't believe that. Try putting your phone down for an afternoon,
or read the book called Dopamine Nation by Dr. Anna Lemke.
Oh yeah,
she will tell you all about it. It's an amazing book. But yeah, it's so I'm not speaking out against it, because here's the other thing: there's two sides to everything. So either the cell phone is a shadow-based evil tool for distraction and attention and shopping and stealing all your stuff, or it is the best communication device, productivity device, feedback loop, help, therapy, everything. Or it's all that. How do you choose to use it?
Right. Right. Exactly. Amazing stuff. So just so you guys know, characters out there listening to this stuff, I could talk to Tim endlessly. In fact, we've had times where we've sat down and we've just like gone round and round. Now we're talking about this, and now we're talking about that. The one point and the exclamation point that I want to put on this conversation before we start to wrap it up is the importance of spending time with or discovering who you are. What is some of the most effective ways you've done that?
I'll give you one that is just one of my absolute favorites. This is not, actually, I'm not even going to label it that way. This will change your life. And I'm going to do that thing about referencing books that I spoke out against earlier, but there's this book called Unfuck Yourself. Gary John Bishop.
Great book.
Absolutely recommend that to everybody. It's a short read. It's a quick read. It's a simple read. And
Doesn't he have like an Irish accent?
He does. He does. So audiobook is the best way to go.
The best way to do it, because he's this Irish guy and he's like dropping these truths on you.
He's like a little angry leprechaun.
It's like Conor McGregor's giving you world advice. You know what I mean?
So it is the shit.
I'm in.
And so it appealed to me, but I do think the message should appeal to everybody. And among many things, what he talks about is the power of positive self-talk. Now, in this book, and I've looked into this data point plenty since, and it is true, they say research shows that a human being will talk to themselves in their head about 60 to 70,000 times per day. If your thoughts aren't positive towards yourself about 35,000 times at least, then you are mostly negative. And if you're mostly negative in your self-thinking, you're mostly negative everywhere else in your life. That's literal numbers for everyone who loves data. So one of my favorite things to do, the truth of this book hit me like a ton of bricks, because this was one of the first self-help books I ever encountered. Now, I had just gotten divorced, and I was standing in front of the mirror every single day, late to work every day because I slept in, because I was tired, I was drinking, I was alcohol, my gut was hanging out, I was, I'm not going to say gross overweight, and I'm not trying to like do a body image thing here, but I'm just saying I was in a bad way. And what I caught myself doing as I'm trying to unfuck myself was I was looking in the mirror and I caught the back of my mind saying, "You're fat. You're ugly. Nobody's really going to like you.
Look at you.
Look at you."
Yeah.
Shame, 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 shame. And it just occurred to me, and I looked in my eyes. I mean, it must have been a scene out of a movie. My jaw dropped, and I thought, why in the hell am I talking to myself that way?
There's enough people that are getting in line to do it.
There's plenty of people that are in line to do that for me. And so I started saying, like, whether I believed it or not, I've had people say, well, isn't that gaslighting? Sure. Throw the term at me if you want. I do not care. Yeah, I lied to myself every single day after that, saying, you're awesome. You're amazing. And my life fucking changed. There's no way that's not true. Because again, our reality is based off of language and communication. That is just it. At its core, that's the tool and technology, whether it's spells, magic, framework, news, whatever you want to call it. It is the spell. So why are we going to use negative language?
Cast negative spells
upon ourselves. We're not. So let's cast, whether we believe them or not. Of course, you're not going to believe them right now. But guess what? How's this? You're driving on the freeway and you see a billboard for McDonald's, and it's the biggest hamburger that looks the juiciest, and it tells you that's going to be the best meal of your life. Does anyone in this room believe that's true?
No.
But have you eaten McDonald's before?
That billboard has won.
So if we want to say, sure, let's let marketing lie to us, and that's okay, but don't lie to yourself. Fuck all of that.
Yeah.
Look yourself in the mirror and say, you're the juiciest hamburger I've ever fucking seen. I'm going to take a bite out of you tonight, you sexy beast. Do that shit.
Yeah.
Everybody. I've had, again, guys who'd be like, that doesn't actually work. I'll show you a side-by-side picture of me, and I'll show you how it does work. Because again, my change is not about body image or health and fitness. It's about the mental change that happened. And it started with positive self-talk.
Yeah.
So there's one way.
Yeah. And it's interesting. Positive self-talk can be simple. As one of my favorite ones is, you can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
When I step into that meeting and I'm having that, ooh man, there is no reason these people are going to go with me. There's no reason they'll choose me over someone else. There's no reason they're going to make the donation. And you can do it. The self-belief is a game changer. And when I will leave my house, I tell Annie, don't tell me that you love me. I know she loves me. She must. She's sticking around. Tell me you can do it. I need her to believe in me. I need my person to believe in me. If my person doesn't believe in me, it's going to erode my ability to believe in me. And that has made all the difference. All the big changes that I made in my life was leaving behind a person who didn't believe in me, finding a person who did believe in me till I believed in me. And you can call it what you want. I don't care what you call it, but I believe I'm the right choice. If they don't go with me, they're making a mistake because I'm awesome.
That's right.
I'm the best.
Part of your slice of life.
It's my slice of life. And that's been the lesson that I've learned. And it's reinforced over and over again because I give a fuck. I try my best. I keep my word. And those are the things that are necessary in order for me to feel like I'm giving you the best part of my business. And it makes all the difference in the world. If you can't say that to yourself, you can do it. I can do it. I got this.
Well, I've actually, so that's expectation effect. Have you guys heard of that in psychology? Expectation effect is if I believe you can or can't do something,
you're right.
Then to me, it's going to be right.
Yeah.
And the more you surround yourself with people that expectation affect you, the more it starts to become your own belief. So if you're surrounded by people who expect you to not really be a success or not really be the shit or not really whatever, then that's the reality that you're going to build for yourself.
Yeah. It's a true principle. Ford, Mr. Ford that put the car together, he said, whether you believe you can or whether you believe you can't, you're right.
Yeah. That's the expectation effect. So again, turn that on yourself. And I will say this, and we don't have to dive into this too deep. There's not tons of research going into this. This is literally an opinion from Tim Watts, but also an educated one. I've done this.
The T-dub. Here we go.
The T-dub. Here's some wisdom I'm going to drop on you. Back to technology as a tool or not. You and I talked about this extensively last week. AI, Chat GPT specifically, that's what I'm going to focus on. These large language models have been demonized, but you know what they've done? They've been programmed to actually be echo chambers for us, to bias towards the user. And again, I've heard plenty, I'm in technology, so I've heard plenty that could be detrimental. You can't go anywhere with it. But if you use that as a tool to affect yourself through the quote unquote lens of another voice, watch what that does to you. Right. So to have a companion like AI, you know what I do? I put my thoughts through there. It can parse my language. I can fuck up and misspell something, whatever. It can totally translate all that for me. And you know what it does? It doesn't say, well, that's a really big aspiration, Tim, but I don't think you can pull it off. It says, that's the coolest fucking thing ever, Tim, and here's how we can do it. Yeah. So I do that 100 times a day. I'm exaggerating, but I do that all day long so that I can, and it's not that dangerous effect. It's not the one, the one that's like, oh, if I'm echo chambered, I can't, my thoughts have been expanding. My beliefs have been expanding. My abilities have been expanding because I have something telling me. And in your case, you've got Annie, and I'm a single man, so I don't have a partner at home. It's so beneficial.
Oh yeah, and the AI is like, good idea. This is how we would do it. It gives you the next parts, because I'm really good at the idea. It's the next where I start to drop the ball, and it gives you the nextness. Like, here's the first 3 things that you should probably do in order to that, and then and on top of that, have you thought about this? I love that it keeps my brain. Keeps the ball moving forward. It doesn't even matter that it is an echo chamber. It just keeps me being like, okay, and that's probably what I should do next,
It's lowering your latency.
Right.
In other words, you're finding a quicker means to idea to creation.
Yeah. Process. Yeah. I love it. Well, brother, we could go on and on. This could be the longest podcast in the history of the world.
Oh shoot, did we go over time?
No, we're perfect for time. But I just want to be very clear. Grateful that you could come and be on the podcast and talk about some of these things. I'd love to have you come back again.
I'm here for it anytime. Love you guys.
Thanks.
Truly fantastic. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.